Hey guys, quick announcement before the video proper starts. As you can tell from the title, this is about Arcane on Netflix. I have not seen Arcane, nor do I plan to anytime soon, and you will notice a stunning lack of me in this video. I am currently very busy working 6 days a week and also working on Quint Part 8, an honest look at Ironwood. I plan on doing an honest look at Penny, but that's probably going to have to be pushed back because I also have a 5-year anniversary stream I'm wanting to do. Probably before you guys see this video, now that I'm looking at how many days I have left in November. And I also have to think about doing my year in review stream in December. And then by the time all that's done, it'll be time to do the Valentine's Day special. And with my current work schedule and the stuff I have in the works, watching anything really just isn't in the cards for me. But the boys, High Powered and Coop in particular, did watch Arcane, talked about it along with, I believe, Deathrock on the Discord, and they recorded it, and they wanted me to edit it for them and upload it onto my channel, and that's what this is. So, direct your comments towards them, don't direct them towards me. Frankly, I'm probably not even gonna for real listen to all this audio. I'm probably just gonna skim it and cut out all the pauses and stuff, which is actually how I edit a lot of the Ruby podcasts. But without further ado, here is the boys talk about Arcane.
Afternoon. This is High Powered back with a special off-season Beyond cast for the brand new show Arcane.
Oh shit, was that it? That all you were gonna say?
Yeah, that was all I was gonna say. I've
Alright.
just started drinking.
Oh, makes sense. Alright. Well, yeah. It's your boy Coop here to fucking expand your horizons and hopefully media's by finally giving you something that's not about fucking Quince or Naruto on his fucking channel.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's all his channel has been recently.
Yeah.
And for good reason too.
Oh, speaking
Maybe
of guests, why doesn't the new guest for this podcast introduce himself?
Okay, I'm Deathrock. I'm a hobby enthusiast. I love wargaming, and I really like Arcane. It's like a fresh air for fantasy in general. I think that's what I like about the show.
So uh, essentially, what Arcane is, for those who don't know, we're just gonna say it. For those out in Rio Rhinelander, Arcane is a fantasy steampunk show, and it is funded by the people at League of Legends, and unfortunately, the name of the studio that actually created it escapes me at the time, but I could probably fire up the Wikipedia real quick and figure that out. As of right now, it is being streamed on Netflix in like the United States and a few other places, and it's being basically dumped in 3 to 4 episode drops. We are going over the first 3 episodes. By the time this podcast actually gets published, there's a reasonable chance that all the episodes will be out, or one section of episode or the next section of episodes will be out. I don't know. I'm just gonna give media the Google
so.
Drive link, and he's gonna have to deal with it so he can post it to his YouTube channel.
So I have actually looked it up. And the it was produced by Riot Games and partially produced by Fortiche, which is a French studio based in Paris. But they were the ones who provided the primary amount of the animation services. And it doesn't say they outsourced any of it to anybody else. So I think they were like the general thing that did all of the animation for it.
Well, that explains a lot, like the color palettes in the show, because you can tell that they blended 2D animation with 3D animation, and it doesn't show that
Well,
often. You
well, from what I can tell, and I might be wrong about this because I don't know that much about animation, but it seems to be just like their a sort of version of cell shading that they used for it.
Yeah,
Well, since you mentioned it's a French studio, you want to know what comes to mind? I don't know if you've
Uh,
seen this gem of a show. It's really good. It's called Wakfu.
oh
oh yeah,
yes, I
And
yeah.
love it.
are the lines starting to connect in your head now? Cause
Well,
I don't know what
uh,
it is with the French, but like
They,
the
they,
w-
they like steampunk, like the
the
mixing technology with magic. They actually like it in their fiction.
the
yeah, they
the
do.
the way they do animation has like a definite feel to it. And now that you mentioned it was a French studio, I'm thinking back to like how the choreography is for the fight scenes and stuff. It's like, okay, I can see the through line here. I'm kind of curious to see if that studio has produced anything else beforehand,
It
or
so like if you follow the link, the only thing it doesn't seem to have anything cited on its own article like at all. It doesn't even have an article. It's like a dead link. Read it out, and it wouldn't appear that they have made anything that I know of. It may very well be that this is their own. This is like their first independent work, and they were just like a subsidiary
Yeah, I
previously,
mean,
or
if
there's some
if
people
this
who
is
got.
the first professional thing they do, I want to see more of these people doing anything.
I'll look into that more.
Also, I now that High Power
Productions.
address the choreography. I really enjoy that they went for a, instead of a fancy fighting style for the show, they were for like a more grounded Jason Bourne style of fighting that is like, it's gritty, it's awful. Like you can see like people bleeding when they get punched, and it tells. It's like grounded in reality. It has this fantasy feel because there is magic and shit, but it's like, but if you get like a punch in the face, it feels like a punch.
I don't think there's a single scene in this entire series where Vi's knuckles aren't bloodied the entire time.
Okay, I found their actual site, and apparently the only other things they have up on like their homepage are they have KDA Pop Stars as another thing that they did, which is also League related. And
That's actually good. The KDA video it's
and
very interesting.
they also did the Rocket and Groot animated short for Marvel.
Oh, so these French guys, they have been doing some stuff before, but this is
Well, a
like
little bit,
These
but
guys are
but
some
this is
pipe
like
hitters, at least, is what. At least with especially working directly with Marvel.
yeah,
yeah.
that's
I mean, I'd rather have like a low amount of high quality shit, a high amount of shit. Honestly, it seems like these are the guys to go to if you want to get something. It's like this would probably be like their first long time like episode thing because from what I've seen they've only done like shorts for other stuff. But either way, they still cranked it out really well on this.
yeah, it's like you can tell that there's like a lot of planning for this. They have been working on this for like 3 years,
Yeah, like two,
and
3 years, I think, was
Seems like it.
when they started, at least, or at least was in the planning stages. Because so essentially, what Arcane is it revolves around uh, two characters are the main focal point of the series. So Vi and Jinx, or Powder, is her actual proper name. And
Mm.
so there are other League of Legends characters featured in the series, such as Victor, Caitlyn, Jace, maybe Warwick,
Yeah,
and
maybe Warwick.
Heimerdinger.
Yeah, I really love seeing Heimerdinger. He
Like the thing is that with a lot of these characters, like you said, with fucking Jinx's original name being Powder and stuff, like she's very obvious who she is, but there are a lot of like side guys who get lines that are like very well voiced to where you could maybe think, oh, is this actually like some established character and this is just the prequel thing to them? Because
yeah, and but that's
I mean it's probably less of a thing to you, Rock, because you like know more about League than either me or HP does.
I
But
mean, no, knowing the characters in the show helps, but what I really enjoy is the fact that you can watch this knowing nothing about League of Legends and you can get it. You can get like the general situation of the world. You can see like people don't like magic. You can see that like the poor people on sound doesn't like people on Piltover. You don't need you get the basics. You get like, and I
it
think that's why they went for Jinx and Vi, because they are basically like grounded. They are not cosmic beings. They are not heroes of legends. They are like just two random people that got fucked over, and that's what they are. They are regular people.
Yeah.
okay, so like to maybe it is like a good thing that I establish how little I know about League. I
Yeah.
had back when I was playing it, two favorite characters, neither of whom I can remember the names of.
How about you describe them to us?
I liked big rabbit jackalope guy with hammer, and I liked small white jackalope guy with pet shadow wolf.
Oh,
I
fuck.
think
The character is in my mind, but I don't
Okay.
know that person's the character's
Okay.
name.
The first one, big guy with a hammer, is Orn, the one that's a god. He's actually a god.
yes,
And
I liked him even though he was shit to play, and I was shit at playing him, which doubled up on how shitty it was.
I mean, he's actually a really, really good character in game. The thing is, like, he is one of those characters that you need to know what you are doing to actually play it. It's
Yes,
not, it's not like an entry level character.
I liked him because he was a big jackalope thing.
Yeah, you got to be able to hit your ultimate. You got to be able to knock your ultimate back into
Yeah.
the enemy
Yeah,
whenever you do it.
which
But to keep it into Arcane, so what they did is like they use a lot of show don't tell. From the beginning of the first episode, they show you the kind of world that is. It's colorful, it's bright, but it's not a friendly world. You're not gonna have like the best life ever necessarily in this world. It's not dark like Game of Thrones, because that making a dark show for the sake of being dark, it is dumb. It shows you like there's like the good side and there's the bad side, and you can see both perspectives, which is
yeah,
actually really smart.
yeah. It's like sure you're living in the bad part of town, which is it's not Piltover. It is fuck.
Yeah, sound.
Yeah, it's what was it called again? I'm sorry.
Zound
Yeah,
Sound.
Zon, right?
or Zon?
Yeah,
Zon?
that's
Zound?
right.
Yeah, Zon. Yeah, it's Zon, and like you can tell, like okay, sure, you can be born and raised in Zon, and it's like it wouldn't, it's like it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Like there are worse cyberpunk, steampunk,
Well, there are
whatever
still
punk
guys that are
dystopian worlds you could spawn into in your isekai war in your isekai.
like in
Uh,
Zon, there are still guys that like have reasonably decent ways of going about shit. It's just like if I had to like point to one thing, it seems like everybody who lives there is a fucking orphan. And I'm like, And like one first mission in life seems to be find new dad because old one died.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
that's
Vance. Vance is the father figure's character's name, correct? It's Vance, right?
I
no,
believe
it's
so.
Vander.
Vander. Yeah.
Vander, man. Vander's voice actor was on point
Oh yeah, he's
and excellent character. I think we could let's start talking about like the characters. Like we can just start like just we're doing like our whole overview bit for now. Like we could start with the characters. So let's might as well we'll just start with Vander. So Vander is basically introduced within the first 30 seconds of the series, and he gets introduced basically after
Well,
the end of like a failed riot.
it's
And
like well, they talk about him during it, and the way that they make him out to be before you meet him is that he's going to be like a crime boss type thing, and you expect him to just like punish the absolute shit out of him, but then they get back and it surprises you by like having
oh
cool
yeah.
kind
I
of
mean,
chill guy.
you can tell that he probably runs like his own gang. He runs crime on that part of the city, but he's not like an evil guy. He's like a man who knows like, okay, there's consequences to this thing. If we steal, the police is gonna come, and he's like he's like a wise man who is tired of being a gangster. If you can tell, like he's clearly
he wants
someone
to
who can fight.
retire.
Yeah, he wants
Yeah.
to retire.
Which is kind of funny that like we're bringing up these comparisons because I've been watching the current season of Narcos, and the way that Vander acts is like the way that people in the cartels like to think that they act whenever they're doing stuff. If that makes sense, where it's like, oh, it's like, sure, we peddle drugs, but like we employ a whole bunch of people. And it's like, don't look behind me at the pile of like dead bodies that we're burning right now. Like we feed a lot of families with our job here. We provide, good work for, the people like in our cartel. Like,
I mean, they do eventually basically like show what happens when you do act like Vander does, like
Yeah,
legit, when you're like the head of a crime organization who refuses to kill anybody. Eventually, it does.
yeah.
Basically, just people wind up being like, "Why should we follow this guy around?"
And
yeah,
even Bander says that he can't run away from his past. Like even he tries to tell that to Vice, like you don't have to be like I used to be, because if you do, all of this is gonna bite you in the ass. All of this.
and oh boy, does it. But we'll save
It
Mm.
that
does
for
it.
later. Oh yes, and by the way, there are going to be spoilers.
Oh yeah,
But that's
they're gonna be.
implied on all of these podcasts that we do here.
Yeah, I mean, like that's later on. I guess move on to Vi though. Fucking like, she is the main character, I guess.
Is
Well,
she the
Vi.
most main character? I would say
Probably.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that probably. I think Jace might be part of the main cast in terms that he's supposed to be like our perspective on the surface on Piltover.
Because technically speaking, like if Jace didn't exist in the story wouldn't happen.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
so that's kind of one thing that I'm surprised at how well they're able to do, and this is kind of like my only complaint with the series. Like to me, like if they just dump these 3 episodes on us and then just like didn't expand further, leaves the room, it's still like a good 8 out of 10. Because
Yeah,
there's
pretty
Yeah,
because I feel like this like any complaint I can really have is like I feel like the whole like story moves a little like it moves fast. Like there's like zero filler in this at all.
Oh,
There's no like there's no like a hot there's no hot sauna, there's no hot
Origin
spring scene or anything.
See, like originally, I thought that was like sort of a mimicry of like trends in a lot of animated stuff. But now that I know which studio did it, a lot of French stuff has that kind of pacing to it. Like
Yeah,
it's similar pacing to how Wakfu was.
Yeah,
And
like
stuff.
Wakfu's pretty same. Like a lot of Wakfu's stuff is like monster of the week, but
yeah. But
they're
when the plot moves, it moves
yeah,
fast.
it's not redlining, but we're like 1,500, 2,000 revs away from it redlining.
Yeah,
Mm,
I mean, like they always like, and I mean it does work really well with the current uh kind of like audience environment, I would say, and I don't really like that is the case because I mean, like we've got basically like a prime example of doing something somewhat opposite to that in Dune that just came out and how everybody's complaining about that being too slow. So like it or not, like current people nowadays just can't waste time sitting around
yeah.
watching something slow.
I mean, you can make a slow show, but it's not for everyone. And when like it gets into the mainstream, it has to be really, really good to catch the mainstream audience like long enough to to hold to a slow show. That's why a lot of people loves Breaking Bad because even when it's slow and
Well, they had a lot of tension involved
exactly.
with it and stuff. But the same was also true of Dune, but it's still got a lot of its negative reviews based entirely off of just being too slow paced for audience taste. And maybe
Yeah.
that's because it was a movie rather than a TV show or something. I don't know.
So
There's a
interesting
lot
thing
of
about Dune. Do you want to know that it's actually very popular in China? And apparently, whenever it hit the Chinese censorship board, they were like, "Yeah, this is good. Send it on through." They didn't like cut anything apparently.
Makes sense. Dune is actually the book is popular among Chinese people.
well, it's popular everywhere. It's like one of the
Yeah, it's
premier
one of the
science
best selling.
fiction works of all time. But
Yeah,
that's not what this is about.
Yeah, this
We've
is
gone on a
true.
tangent. But
Yeah,
yeah.
Dune is to Lord of the Rings as yeah,
For
it's
sci-fi, for
for
sci-fi.
sci-fi.
yeah,
Well,
But
to keep
so
it up,
back to Vi, back to Vi. So
yeah, back to back.
Vi is the most main character. She is definitely the one that pushes the plot forward, even though that there are other aspects of the show that push the plot forward. But at the end of the day, the show is mainly focused around Vi and her sister Powder, or Jinx. We'll just call her Jinx. Keep it simple. We'll call her Jinx. Um, so
Yeah, that after watching episode 3, I think that probably she hates that name. She calls herself that, but I believe that probably she doesn't like that name.
yeah, it
maybe
could be like the whole MK Ultra brainwashing or whatever that she might receive, or her.
maybe
Oh,
or
oh,
maybe she
there's
lines
this
up.
thing about her. I think Powder. She was mentally unstable before what happened on episode 3 because you can tell that she has like OCD and like her first invention was a nail bomb.
Yeah,
Like
and
Jesus, man, it's like
the only reason it didn't work was because she didn't fucking load it up with a big enough charge.
yeah. Because if that bomb actually worked, that kid will be dead.
Yeah, like
But
straight up.
to keep it here, I think this is great because Bite might not understand that maybe her personality helped to create a monster because the way she wants to be like she wants to prove her value but she wants to use it by stealing by inflicting violence on people. This is what her little sister sees, and she looks up to her sister, so probably this is why she has that mental breakdown because first time something she makes like works, it it fucks everything up.
I mean, you can kind of think about it in the sense of like kind of like the old school gangster movies where
Yeah.
it's like the older brother is in the gang and the older brother's looking at like the nerdy younger brother or sibling, and it's like, don't do hood ass shit. You need to go to school so you can get a education and you can get out of here. It's like, don't do what I'm doing is kind of like, it's kind of the dynamic that was happening where I think
Yeah.
Vi is too caught up in trying to, because I think the image of Vander in Vi's mind is like the Vander that was trying to like, lead the revolt uh
Against the rich
into
people.
yeah, against the rich people in Piltover, and that image in Vi's mind of Vander never went away, where like maybe if she was like, older, whenever like Vander adopted her and her sister, she could probably like understand his thought process of like yeah, I'm a crime boss, but like, the people in Piltover, if they wanted to, they could just like roll. They could literally just roll us over if they wanted to, and there wouldn't be a whole lot we could do about it.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
but then we do get finally a guy who comes up with a counter maneuver to counter that in terms of like I guess the primary antagonist of this series. Fucking
Yeah. Or man, Silco.
yeah.
Oh yes, Silco, an amazing voice actor, and he has his counterpart, which is it's the fuck, what is her name? It is the one lady on the council in
Uh,
Piltover. It's the
Mel.
is it
Let's
Mel?
look around. Yeah, it's Mel.
Yeah, it's Melt or Mel.
Mel.
Yeah.
Just like that, Mel.
Yeah.
She.
I don't
I
know why
like.
the
I
names are
like her
so hard to
because
remember.
I like
Yeah.
her because she is clearly a villain, but she's not obviously a villain. She's not like comically. She's not Skeletor. She's like, no, I just like,
She's a villain like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates are a villain.
yeah, she's just bribing the council to do whatever she wants. And I was doubting because I was thinking that maybe she was a good person, but at the moment that when she allows Jace and Victor to steal the to steal the technology, like the machine that they were making, like at that moment I was like, no, she's a bad person. She's literally allowing these two men to experiment with volatile things just because she wants to make money.
Well, she's kind of like yeah, that's her reason for it, but like
Oh, and
she's
she
she's she's kind of like feeding into a reasonably noble goal with that, as far as I can
but
tell.
she's not doing it for like a noble cause. She's doing
Yeah.
it because
Well,
Well,
and
it's she's throwing wood on the fire, but she doesn't realize that like, oh, by encouraging Jason Victor uh
well,
in their delving into hex tech, that it's gonna cause like another,
another rebellion.
another rebellion from the Undercity, because the name escapes me, so I'm just gonna call it whatever I feel like calling it. And the people are gonna be
Yeah,
listening to this podcast like, do these guys actually watch the show? And I'm like, yes, I did.
it's just that it's hard to remember. I don't know why.
But this
Like,
isn't a knock against the show. It's just like these names are escaping us for the time being.
yeah, it's a
yeah,
knock against our brains, if anything.
yeah. It's fine. But yeah, the thing is, like, I like the fact that they have like a bad guy on the Undercity and they have like a bad guy on the Upper City. It's like, but it's like she's not obviously like, no, I'm comically evil. She's connected to another character from the games, which I would love if I see this character in the show. It doesn't matter if she doesn't appear; it's not necessary, at least as a cameo, because the entire joke is like the family of Mel. They are rich, but they are not like they don't play by the rules. They secretly they pay assassins to deal with their opponents.
Does she deal
What?
with that lady with the knife legs?
Yeah, Camille. Camille
Oh,
works for her.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So,
Because
for example, if Jace tomorrow decided to rebel against her, Jace will disappear.
I don't
That's how
know,
it
man.
works.
Well, hold up. You're forgetting something extremely important about Jace. Jace is generic male protagonist, so
Oh yeah,
obviously he would somehow succeed at
yeah.
forcing
he will
assassin.
Jace is a
survive.
Giga Chad in this
Uh,
setting. He is male protagonist man. That's literally what Jace is like. This sounds like a bad thing, but
But it's not. But
but
it's
it's
not bad.
it's
He's
not
good.
like Jace is unironically like insert male protagonist number 237 into the series, and and that's where he is. And don't even get me started with Caitlyn too. Also, I was like, oh hey, Caitlyn's in this show.
yeah, Jace is basically Peter Parker.
Yeah, pretty much. He's just a regular guy who wants to make an advancement for society. He wants to do good, but he's too optimistic. He
Yeah.
believes that he actually believes that his invention is gonna be used for good. We, I mean, we know it's not gonna be used for good. I really love that about episode 3. It's like, no, dude, like, yeah, you created something, but the people that got their hands in what you created, they are not good people.
Yeah, the Hextech Gunblade is a pretty good item in League of Legends.
Oh yeah,
That's an item that gets built a lot whenever I play. But
Even
then
I
again,
remember
I
that.
just build whatever Blitz.gg tells me to build because I'm a retard at League of Legends. And you can play League of Legends if you want. I promise there's no gatekeeping in the game, and I promise that game won't make you want to suck start a shotgun. It is free.
yeah, it is free.
I mean,
Yeah.
nothing in this world it truly is.
And another character that I'm really interesting to see what they do next is the main antagonist, Silco, because I don't know, he's clearly a traumatized person, but he's like a proto version of Powder, because
Well, because
the reason,
Silco and Vander were like left and right hand mans. Like they
yeah,
were like
Yeah.
it's kind of like a it's like it's almost what's it called? It's basically like Lenin ousting Trotsky, but Trotsky doesn't get an ice pick into his skull in Mexico
Well,
and manages to come back.
I liked,
That's Silco.
uh,
Silco is Trotsky.
I,
And I'm
I,
not making any other political statements. I'm just saying, like
yeah, yeah,
there's the two guys that were leading the revolution, and one of them one of them got no, I'm sorry. Vander is Stalin, and Silko is Trotsky. But no one's Lenin in this series, though.
yeah.
mm,
That's why it's like, I don't know. It's like, I find interesting that they draw parallels between Bander and Bai and Silco and Jinx, because this makes me believe that, since after what happened in episode 3, it makes me believe that Silco's gonna die, and maybe his death is gonna be like the breaking point for Jinx.
Yeah, it's hard to tell cuz I'm trying to think cuz basically the lore ends with like Vi's character blurb. So I'm assuming with this series, it's basically all just like a prequel to like how we see the characters like in game in League of Legends, where they're like killing each other in a MOBA.
mm,
Yeah, this is a
mm.
prequel. This is like, because in game, Jace already created his hammer powered by Hextech and stuff like that, and we can see like Jace using the hammer in the promotional material for the show, but in the show he just created like the power core. Like,
Uh,
at episode 3, he only created like the power core. That's the only thing he
I
created.
was gonna say when Jace gets his hammer, does like his chin enlarge and he becomes like proper Giga Chad?
Yeah, he's
Yes.
gonna be a Giga Champ.
Someone
He'll also
insert
get a cool leather jacket with fur collar on it, the
Uh,
aviator style.
and funny thing is, like, Jace is technically like a superhero in Piltover. He fights crime with a hammer.
Yeah, he's like 007 pretty much
Yeah,
in Piltover in the current lore,
He's like if
basically.
Thor and Superman and Spider-Man and Iron Man were all the same men.
yeah.
We'll just soy Jack as much as we can right now.
Uh,
I, I just find sad that, like, just imagine that week for Jace. In a week, they blow up his apartment. He got robbed. He got scammed by a kid in a fucking alley, and
and he still just stands up in front of the council and is like, I will research my shit even if you banish me from the country.
yeah, even if you kick me out, I'm gonna create a better tomorrow. I'm gonna make a better future.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Victor's like, I'll help as he walks over with his crippled ass. Oh man. Oh, speaking of other characters that are in this series, do you want to know who else is in this series? Echo and Singed are in the series
Oh yeah,
too.
Echo and Singe. And I like that they show Singe the way he is.
Yeah.
And this
He's
is
just a dude mixing anabolic steroids in his backyard. He's a cool
no,
guy.
and that's like one of the his most famous experiments, because in this universe, Singe is canonically like the guy with more enemies in this world. He's enemy of Vi, Caitlyn, Jace, Master G, Darius, a lot of people from the Freljord, Hall of Hionia. And the thing is, he's like a mad chemist guy who wants to prove that his chemistry is better than magic. So he creates like bioweapons, mutants, whatever he needs to do to prove that he is better than magic.
Yeah, because he creates Warwick and fuck, who else does he create? Not Gragas.
Dr. Mundo?
Does he make Doctor Mundo? I thought he was like a Demacian creation.
Uh,
Who's the guy with the crab legs again? Uh,
Urgot.
Orgot. Yeah. Does he make Urgot too?
Yeah, he made the camps that are used to keep him alive.
hmm.
But yeah,
It's like Sinch is like he's not like a prominent man in the sense that he's the guy with a plan, but he's like the guy that the bad guys are gonna hire. Look, we need a weapon. You're gonna make the weapon. That's his role.
if we want to make comparisons to like other like art like fantasies, Singed is essentially like Fabius Bile in the 40k universe.
Pretty much.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then we
It's
have
like
Echo in it too, and he's just like the shop hand at some random shop. And it's funny, it's like, yeah, I decided to learn like kickboxing and kung fu because like Vi showed me like how to throw like a nasty right hook. Which
yep.
I'm like, this makes sense with Echo's character. And I also kind of like, oh, Vi's gonna teach someone something, so like the first thing she thinks of is like, oh, well, I'll just teach this person how to like throw like a nasty right hook.
Yeah. And this connects with the game because in game in lore, if you are playing Echo against Jinx and you taunt, he calls her Paula. He doesn't call her Jinx.
Like how much stuff was there on all of these guys like prior that was known of? Like were there books? Were there comics? Was there like something that I don't know of?
Uh,
I mean, we have like the general idea of how Piltover was, but and like the origins of each character, but we didn't knew exactly like the details. Like, for example, for Jinx, it's like explains that one day like she one day like something happened to her and she like broke down, and since that day she decided that she doesn't matter what, she's gonna destroy Piltover. She's gonna burn the city to the ground. Something happens to her that makes her like hate Piltover to that point.
Mm-hmm.
And in the case of Bai is supposed to be a gang member until she gets captured, and then they go with the plot of Hannibal Lecter, and they're like, okay, we need your help to capture Jinx.
And she ends up
Okay.
working with Caitlyn, and there's a lot of lesbian shipping between Caitlyn and Vi.
I'm completely fine if they are lesbian.
I
It
mean,
doesn't bother
that
me.
that that seems to just be like a fan thing, though. Like I don't know. I looked into that like official wise, and there was nothing on it.
Like unless they're kissing like in like an official Riot, what's it called? That it's not real.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I mean
like
like
Riot has confirmed very few couples and very few like characters that like each other. You want a fun ship? Graves, the cowboy, and Bane, the monster hunter. Graves likes her and she likes him, but she's like too like, no, I'm like from a rich house and a rich family and I'm fancy and you're like a dirty ass cowboy, so I cannot
uh
be with you. But she likes him.
unfortunately, I mean like he's the guy that has like the double-barreled shotgun, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, why would you not get with that? That's like two for the price of one. Come on.
I think my favorite league. Well, I'm trying to think. Because is it like wasn't Miss Fortune married to what's his name in the game or something like fuck what's his name Pirate Man
To Gangplank? No.
yeah, wasn't she married to like Gangplank or something?
No, he's old enough to be like not even her father, like her grandpa.
And
Yeah. No, but the thing is, like, no, she's actually like her nemesis. They are like mortal enemies because her story is basically one day her family got attacked by pirates and her mother hide her inside the closet, and Gangplank enter and kills her father and her mom. And since then, she is like, I hate pirates. I have to kill pirates, and that's what Miss Fortune does. She's a pirate hunter.
Is um is the pirate place near Zon or whatever?
Uh,
I
not
don't
really,
think
but
so.
a lot of the two guys that were extorting the merchant in the bar, they are pirates from. They are pirates,
Okay.
which I really like. I really like how Bander was like, now, you think I am gonna allow you to extort someone in my bar?
Yeah, that was a good scene. And then everyone at the bar is like standing up, like pool cues are about to be broken, like shit was about to go down.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you can tell that the people here they respect Bander. They will like, if something happened to Bander, they're gonna jump to
Something
help.
happens to him, something happens to the alcohol, and if something happens to the alcohol, something
Yeah,
bad happens in general. It's
he even
very
say it like, don't never threat the man who pours the drinks.
God, that's such a good line. Holy
Mhm.
shit.
I
Whoever
mean,
whoever figure wrote that line needs a fucking raise. That's a good ass line.
yes, it is.
it's so true. I
It's
would
like,
kill anybody who threatened a guy who had given me a beer one time.
are you messing with the bartender of all
Mm.
people? No. Oh, I really feel sad when Milo and Claygor died, like because it was like so crude the way they died. They were
Oh
like
god, it's so sudden. Like
like
you kind of don't think like we're kind of talking about the episode like the episodes now, but like it's fine. But like whenever those two out of like Vi's gang die, it's it's you don't suspect it's going to happen.
Yeah, not at all. You thought
oh
they'd stick
no.
around and
You
like
thought they'd like survive, or like it's just like, oh, like these people are just gonna like like go
Get
do their,
injured or something.
yeah, they're just gonna like go do their own thing. It's like, no, that ain't the case. Like they fucking die, and like they are like killed in a very like they die as like Pyrrha died in Ruby in a very obvious manner of like, yeah, they're dead.
Yeah, it wasn't. There was no doubt. Just when Milo got impaled to the wall, he was trying to pull it out, and then the rock started falling.
Yeah.
And rewatching that scene, I'm going back to when Vi just see Jinx and she's like, "You did this." At that point, it's like, okay, I can't see why she can't like forgive her sister. Like her sister literally murdered like their brothers because they were like brothers to her.
Well, and also to Powder slash
Yeah,
Jinx, like that's the like that's you know like the whole like found family thing, like
Mm.
those
yeah,
two
the blood.
characters to Vi
Yeah,
and Jinx are like the closest thing they have to siblings.
yeah, and her face, like at the moment when she's like, "It worked, it did work, my monkey bomb finally worked," and Vi is like, "You did this." She can't believe that her sister did this.
And Vi is not like we are so jumping the shark right now as like I'm staring at like Guaru doing the fucking like dance in the podcast channel right now. Um, like Vi is perfect is 100% in the right to be that upset with Powder at that moment.
Oh yeah.
Like
Well,
there is nothing wrong with that, and the basically it's like the way that it spins that off to like how both Vi and Powder become who they like. Well, at that point, like we'll say Jinx. The way that that spins off to how Vi and Jinx become like who they are in like close to present is is perfect. Like
Oh yeah.
the delivery, like the scene, and even like the stuff afterwards with Sinclair, right?
I think Sinclair was like the bad guy from
Yeah.
Bioshock.
Well, whatever. The
The
bad guy.
steampunk bad guy.
Yeah. So the main villain in Zaun, like that scene afterwards with him and Powder, it's like it's all perfect because it's like during that scene he is like ready, like he doesn't need to kill her, but he's like ready to.
Yeah, he
And
is ready.
like well that's the other thing too, like you remember like this the bit too cuz Vander like just assumes that he's dead. Like he
Yep.
doesn't know that he survived because Vander just assumed that like he drowned him in the river under the bridge by the guy who's eating the government cheese in the van.
Yes.
And like there's like during that scene like it expressly like emphasizes the fact that like he is reaching for Vander's boot knife or whatever, and that comes into play again where like that's how Vander ends up killing him, or like getting in like those like killing blows on Vander was with that knife.
Yeah.
And he's ready to kill Powder at that moment, but like Powder is so mind broken at that time where it's like it doesn't matter. Like she
yeah.
like she is on it, like she is like knowing it or knowing it not, like she is at the crossroads and she is making a deal with the devil at 11:59 p.m.
I think like honestly at the we've gotten like so deep into the guys that like without any context though it might be like hard to parse out, so I think we ought to just like summarize the plot real
Yeah,
quick.
let's roll back a little bit.
Okay, let's go.
So like we start off we're in Piltover, which is big old technocracy city with lots of cool, funny airships and stuff. And we meet our boys, little gang of like street punk guys led by Vi, who are on their way to go steal stuff that
The MacGuffin.
they heard about from.
No, it's not a MacGuffin because it actually has like an use. It's actually useful.
Yeah, it has other uses aside from just being something that they want to grab for their shit. Uh, I forget, do they ever explain how it was that they heard about this shit? Or
Echo
Yeah,
gave them that
Echo.
information.
okay, so Echo found out about it. Do we know how Echo found out about it? Because that's
Yes,
basically just
Echo explains it that he sold some relics at overprice to Jace, and then he sell the information to Buy, so Buy went back to steal the shit that he sold to Jace.
oh, okay. So like basically they were going to get like a triple fucking payout from this job on their end.
Yeah, pretty
Is
much.
this? I
And
mean, like
and
that's
even Jay said that he bought it from a young man in Sound when he's talking to Caitlyn. He's like, no, I bought new components for my experiments. They're gonna be able to stabilize the thing I'm working on, and then the door just closed.
yeah. I mean that yeah, I remember that scene now. Okay,
Yeah,
so yeah,
Yeah, it's a robbery that goes wrong.
they
They
cause the explosion real quick,
yeah,
and
they
then they
cause the
fucking
explosion.
they ditch out of there, but they run up on another gang who tries to jack their shit that they just jacked. And they don't know these guys, even though they're from the same place, as I recall. But and they also don't know how it was that they came across them at this point in time. They just kind of got intercepted in a weird coincidence type of way,
A
which is fine.
a fist brawl ensues, and it's like a pretty good brawl.
yeah, it's a pretty
Yeah,
good brawl.
They are beating, these kids are beating the shit out of each other.
like if you didn't think like this is still like only I think like 10 minutes into the show still, and like the animation I think I mean it was top tier like from like second one, but like it really I think they really showed off when it came to this fight scene. And that was like the first thing to get you like super hooked on it, probably. But like yeah, they did definitely like have a good brawl there. But they do beat the dudes. Uh but in the midst of said fight, uh Powder gets split off from them. She winds up getting chased down by one of the other dudes. He chases after her. She, having nowhere else to go, attempts to use her nail bomb. It kind of explodes, but it's more of a dud and doesn't have enough percussive force to kill him.
A dramatic escalation of force.
Yes. She didn't quite pack it with enough C4. We'll get him next time. Like,
Not enough Simtex mixed in.
yeah, she really should contact the CIA to get better resources. But fucking then with no other choice, in order to get the guy to stop chasing her for the shit, she just dumps the shit in the river. And then he's like, well, fuck. Now I have like literally no reason to be doing anything here at all.
And he just fucks off. And he
Yeah,
returns later in the series too. They make use of him.
yeah.
And
But
that's bait. So that's like the first chunk of that episode, and then
Yeah,
well, yeah,
and then
then we go down to the Undercity and we see like how they live, these kids. They live like in the ugly part of the town, like but the ugliest because you can see the hookers in the streets. mercenaries, criminals, and like, what the?
Hey man, that little weird goblin creature hooker was probably the hottest piece of meat I've ever seen. I would tap that in 2 seconds if you gave me the chance and come
Well,
back for a
Coop,
second round.
you are a Marine, so like it's kind of like in your nature.
Obviously.
Rape is also in your nature too, but that's like a requirement in the Marine Corps.
That's only if it doesn't have a price attached. We'll pay for it if it's there to be paid for. Otherwise, you're getting raped.
What was that quote in wasn't that a quote in what was it, Generation Kill? Like the Marine Corps is the United States like government sanctioned rapists and murderers being let loose.
Probably.
Yeah, that's a quote. You know,
And so then it basically rolls into like them going to the bar. We have the scene with the pirates. I want to say they have a scene with like the gang of four between Vi Powder and then the two other male characters whose names escape me at the time.
That was
Like
more just like there's a lot of like more just like character interaction scenes that go on there. Like they have them interspersed well with
yeah.
the
We see them
action.
like we see them like playing in an arcade and doing other stuff
Like it
apart
kind of
from
feeds
punching
in
people.
like we see how it is that they all seem to look at Jinx through this, which is like a very important thing, but that it doesn't come up till later. But like the main thing from it is basically just that essentially they have kicked off the shit that's going to kick off all the rest of the shit by accident.
and not even
And
realizing that that's what they did.
yeah, because essentially what happens is they have now inadvertently alerted Piltover's council to the fact that there was illegal magic research being done in their city. They have caused people from Zon to be just as a whole suspected in it, since they were described as being the ones to try and bust out with the shit by the witnesses of the fucking robbery and explosion. And so they've caused what are the police guys called from Piltover? I forget.
Enforcers.
The
Yeah, the
enforcers.
enforcers.
So the enforcers are now coming down and trying to comb shit, trying to find the guys that perpetrated stuff. And it has now caused a greater mass of problems than they were expecting. And they, like, even though they themselves are able to lie low, the enforcers are basically just like looking for a, a name of any sort. And they're willing to take like a sacrificial lamb too, so long as they get somebody.
Yeah, because they even say it, like the council is not gonna stop until they get someone.
Pretty much like the council is out for blood. Like they want to basically take someone and put them in a CIA black site to never be thought of ever again.
Yeah, the thing is, Heimerdinger explained it like he explained it a little about why they fear magic in this universe, and
Well,
it's
apparently it's all goes back to vaguely described historical events of of magic
yeah,
people being born and then just using their shit to cause absolute havoc and summon tentacle creatures to produce hentai for the Japanese market.
Yes,
Uh,
which
I mean,
also brings up an important character moment. I think this is actually in the first episode with Jace, where him and his mom are basically trapped in a blizzard, and some random ass virgin wizard is like, "I guess I'll help them," and
yeah,
then
and he gave a runic stone to Jace.
yeah, a spent runic stone to Jace, and then he like proceeds to elaborate further, teleports out of there.
mhm. But yeah, like Jace has now been pursuing the creation of hex tech ever since, and apparently he's the inventor of it. I don't know
Yeah, and
if they outright say that in like previously established
no,
stuff
yeah,
from.
it was debated who created it. It was between Victor or Jace. Now we know it's basically like Jace created like the concept, and Victor did the math because when they are like fixing the machine, and Victor is like, "Oh, I just made the calculations and it should work." And Jace is like, "Oh, great, you solved the math that I wasn't able to figure out."
Well, there you go, League fanboys. Now you have one less thing to argue with each other about. I'm sure you artistic retards won't find another one.
Yeah. But so yeah, Jace got rescued by a mage, and now he wants to create magic.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
I'll,
Yeah, that's
I'll,
it's simple, but that's Jace's character, and it kind of works for him being male protagonist man number 137.
Hey, if
yeah,
it ain't broke, don't fix it.
yeah. Now I suppose that in Act Two, what is going to happen is Jace is going to see what people is going to do with his creation, and he's gonna be like disgusted because he's going to see people using it for war.
That's future prediction territory. We'll save that for later. Like
Yeah,
right
for
now, we
the last
gotta
one.
keep going with the shit. So anyway,
Yeah, we got to keep
enforcers
summarizing the episode.
enforcers come down. Lady who has smoked 1 billion packs of cigarettes each day since the dawning of the very universe itself,
Yeah,
uh, walks down into the streets and tells Vander, "Hey, you gotta give me somebody, or else some shit's gonna go down." Vander basically like mulls around it and decides not to give anybody up, and then enforcers start like uh
beating the
come
living shit
yeah,
out of everyone.
pretty
Just
much.
doing some just doing what we around here, the enforcers, we like to do a little bit of trolling.
Hmm. And
Sometimes you need to beat poor people to so they can understand that they are not awesome like us.
uh in the midst of which Vander begins to lose respect from all of the people he had previously had the respect of, because they're like, "Hey
We have
man,
the numbers to take them down.
yeah, fuck these guys. I don't like getting my shit kicked in." And he's like, "Guys, we can't start wars, because if we start wars."
Vander's like, dude, trust me, we can't do this. Like, insert image of man falling downstairs. I warned you, bro.
Yeah,
I already try.
but they're not having it from him, and he kind of like loses hold of the whole fucking deal, like right there in the middle of his own thing. And what else happens? It's
The-
fucking
yeah, then we jump to the bad guy, to Silco, and he is with Singe, and they are like testing this drug on a
the,
mouse.
Which may or may not be Twitch.
Yeah, may or may not, but it's like I really love the scene because he's like, it will be ready before the enforcers come here, right? And he's like, it will be ready, and he just grabs like a flask, goes, put it on the mouse cage, grabs a cat and put the cat inside the cage, and they just see the mouse obliterate the cat, and they're like, it's ready.
yeah, they're not hesitant with the gore. Like they don't overuse it in this
No, they,
show,
they
but
use it the way it needs to be done. It's like when it's violence, you can see like punches and bruises and cuts, but when they have to kill someone, they do it like sparely, so it's not like gore for the sake of gore. It's just like someone getting brutalized, and it gets shocking.
yeah, and when Silco's using like the eye extractor, even though it's like a fake eye he's got in his left
Yeah,
socket, like when he's using that on himself, he's like in the shadows with it, so you can see he's doing it, but you can't like, make out details with it that would like be maybe gross to some people. Even though like I mean, like, being that I was a guy who worked with like some fucking like shattered up people and shit from sawmills and stuff, I've seen guys pop their eyes out, and like it wouldn't really affect me as much as like I think like maybe an office mom who
Yeah.
was watching this show for some reason might be.
Well, oh yeah, it's like one of the people that didn't like the show, the show that was making a review of the show. She was complaining about the violence. She was like, "No, the music is good, like the script is good, but I don't think this is for the kids." That and she gave him
No.
like a poor review because of that. It's like that's not like an objective
Well, I mean,
review.
like, I wouldn't show it to like a 5-year-old, but like a
Oh
10 or
no,
12-year-old, yeah, I watched that shit with my dad all the time back in the
yeah,
day. I remember that was like around the age he started like showing me the old cowboy flicks where motherfuckers were just getting like shot dead in the street. And I
yep.
was like, oh, okay, cool.
I mean, I remember like watching Avatar: The Last Airbender with my dad, like growing up. My dad was like, "Wow, this is actually like a really good show, son."
Hmm.
And we'd end up like watching it together. And then like you look back at it, it's like, wow, there's some like really like kind of screwed up stuff that happens in like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah. But to keep it into Arcane, we also get like when Silco interrogates the kid that was trying to rob Bai and her gang, and he's like, "How many enforcers are coming? Who stole this shit?" And it's like, "No, it was Bai," and he rats them out, and he's like, "Okay, good boy. That's the smartest thing you have said in a while."
Silco does like a lot of unexpected things from a crime boss. Like, from most of the stuff you watch, like, you expect like the villain guy to like when he gets the info he wants out of the dude to just be like, yeah, kill him, but he doesn't. He just like lets him go and lets him eat shit and stuff. And he does the same with Vander later. Like, Vander thinks, just outright says, yo, just fucking off me, bro, and he's like, nah, I don't really have a grudge against you anymore.
Yeah, he's like, "No, I don't hate you anymore. I grew up from hatred."
Yeah.
Like what? That's interesting because it's like he clearly he's a man who doesn't want to be pushed around. He doesn't like what you can tell that what he doesn't like is the fact that the people on top don't like them. The people on top see them as lesser than they are, and this is his character.
Like, he's
He
vicious, but he's not like hypocritical. He's not like trying to be like, he is like the leader of a thing, but he's not like trying to be the guy beaten down on the same guys he doesn't like having beaten down on.
Yeah,
yeah,
Vander
Seems
seems
like.
interesting where like he's more than like willing to use violence, but he's definitely not a scalpel. He's like a no. Vander is the butcher shop bandsaw, if that
okay.
makes sense. In like his proclivity to use violence, because Vander, like if you compare like Sinclair
Silco?
Silco is the butcher shop bandsaw.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought you meant.
It's
Yes.
like because you can tell that his followers are loyal to him. Like that woman lost her arm to save him.
Yeah, that's that's pretty tight shit going
and
on.
i I believe it's because there's like certain kindness to this man. And like you say, Coop, he's like a bad guy. He's not like brutal. He's not like, I'm gonna execute you because you failed." No, he'll be like, "No, just keep him out of the sight of the police, and we will figure that out."
It's like he he's just like Wreck-It Ralph. He's a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy.
Exactly.
God, Wreck-It Ralph was such a good movie.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I haven't seen the sequel.
Don't
Okay,
don't.
I take your word. So So then we jump back to Piltover and we get the scene with the trial for Jace. and we see that Caitlyn's family is there, his mom is there. Um, the council is like, why are you experimenting
Why
like
you
this?
do thing? Jace be like, I do thing because I think it good idea. Ha ha ha,
Yeah.
science.
Yeah,
And he's like, I'm trying to create magic, and they're like, that's impossible. Only mages can use magic, and you need to be born a mage to use magic. And he's like, no, 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 we can control it with science. And it's like, and then everyone's like talking, but the only person that pays attention to what he's doing is the councilwoman, Mel. She's like the one that is intrigued, and one of the and she votes to spare him is her, but she's like, I like this guy. I
Yeah,
like what
yeah.
he's saying.
Mel's panties are like getting wet whenever Jace is talking about like, oh, like what the hex tech could potentially do.
Yeah, and then when they're going to banish him, his mother just shows up, and she's like, no, you have to spare him. He's a good boy. He created
he
this
didn't do
before.
nothing.
He did do nothing. Oh, we
Yeah, he
did
didn't
it.
do nothing.
We did it. We did it, Reddit.
And she's like, no. And then Dinger is like, okay, we have a punishment that is not like brutal as kicking him out of the country. Okay, we're gonna kick you out of college, and nobody's gonna finance your investigation anymore. And
Yeah,
Jace is like, no, but why? We can do it. We can achieve it. We can do great things. And like,
and then like
dude, just
little,
shut up and take it, because like you
yeah,
don't want to piss these people off.
yeah. So basically, they kick him out. Little furry dude comes up and is like, "Yeah, man, look, man, I'm hundreds of years old. I got experience on you. Magic is fucking gay. Don't do it." Um, and he's like, "But magic, though." And he's like, "Okay, clearly I can't get through to you because you're like young and optimistic and shit. But
Yeah,
fuck off."
he even said like, I was young like you.
Yeah, like, but then, unfortunately, what he couldn't get through to even more was just the sheer amount of ultimate girl boss energy that was able to summon high amounts of money to get Jace exactly what he fucking wanted the whole time. So fuck you, little furry dude. Get shat on your entire.
Yeah, Mai is definitely like exuding like girl boss energy the entire time. I kind of want her to like step on my nuts and tell me I've been a bad boy.
They are censoring her skin, her police skin in League of Legends, and Bai's police skin, because they look like sex workers with those skins.
I
Which,
mean, like, unless it's an actual police uniform, most girls do when they're wearing a police thing.
oh no, this is like in game they look like, if you have ever seen like Caitlyn in her police uniform, she looks like a hooker.
I mean, Caitlyn do be looking pretty good though.
Hmm.
Yep.
I might need to look into this a little bit
I,
more on my own
Look,
time.
I'll just say this: whenever it comes to the women in League of Legends, there's something for everyone there. Okay,
yes.
True
like
enough.
like you want a chick with a big fat ass that like claps. Kiwana's the way to go. She's got like the widest fucking childbearing hips out there. It's great.
Really, I can't have an argument with that.
Like you want tomboy energy, Riven. Oh man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
But coming
yeah.
back to Arcane, this is a little nitpick, but I find a little creepy that like Jace is friends with Caitlyn, and Caitlyn is like 14.
It's kind of
Well,
hard to
well,
pin like Caitlyn's and Jace's age. Like I would
well,
assume
And
like
Jace
I
is 24. You can say that he's on his 20s, but when you see Caitlyn
well, didn't
without
they?
makeup and things, and that she's like really small, you can now, yeah, she's younger.
I, I mean, like, yeah, I would think so. But didn't they say that their families were like friends or something?
No, exactly.
Caitlyn's family is sponsoring Jace.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, that's what I remembered.
Which is funny because
It
Caitlyn doesn't need to become a police officer. She's rich, but not like rich. She's like super rich.
I mean, hey, maybe she doesn't like being a rich girl, and she knows it's hard, but she's really got to stop
Maybe
banging
she
Jace.
wants to get like fisted by like some random like street punk tom girl,
Yeah.
tomboy. I don't know. Like
I
who
don't know what their
knows?
deal.
I mean, she really
I
likes
would
cupcakes though. I don't know why.
I don't know. I would probably like if I had to think of like what officially her deal is. Like it does seem to be like a her and Jace thing. Like I'm not saying that's necessarily the way I approve of it. I don't really particularly care, but like I think that is the way it seems to be going. Just because like it might be nothing at all. Like there might not be anything other than like
Oh, they are friends
yeah, they are
in canon.
definitely there.
That's what they are.
I mean,
Just
like,
I just saying because the scene when he goes to the house, it felt like a little bit stalker to me, and it was just me. I
no,
hope.
I don't. I think well, I think everybody kind of thought like that, but
Like they
the
could have been
thing with
like a
it is,
thing or something. It's
I
like
no, it's. I mean, it definitely comes off that way, but I think it's supposed to, but kind of like more like,
Yeah,
hey,
it's more on the lines of I and
it's
we.
like a final goodbye to your friend. It's like,
Yeah,
yo, I gotta
exactly.
get out of here like in like 2 days. I just wanted to swing by and like make sure you were good and all. Like the fact that it
I've
was
sent you
raining and
those
shit.
drunken DMs before, Coop. We know what this scenario is in real life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we know.
We will not speak about this any further.
yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much.
we
Like,
don't
I
want the
mean,
FBI agent to come out.
well, I mean, like, I wasn't saying I would sell you guys out if you made Hex Tech, but like,
But
if they offered me enough money, I would probably like at least look and see how much it
for
was.
gold accents and chocolate mommy though.
Uh,
I mean the Mel, the rich girl. She's pretty.
but yeah, like he basically just what does what is it? Is it I forget. Fuck. It was basically like right after it was
Jace.
right it was right after him talking to her and like basically having to fucking like hightail it out of there
Well,
that he
because the
gets
impetus of like Mel, like actually agreeing with what Jace and fuck, what's his name? God damn it, uh, Kane man,
Victor.
Victor.
yeah.
Because Victor's like, oh well, I've got the because well, even before this too, like Jace was like, well, I guess I'm gonna kill myself.
Oh yeah,
Like this is kind
that
of where
was.
like the argument of like the plot like being like the storyline being rushed. It's like in under 30 minutes, Jace goes from like, yeah, well, like I'm going to apologize to like Caitlyn and her family, and it's like, well, I guess I'm gonna throw myself out of my fucking corner
Apartment.
apartment workshop that I have,
I
Now
would
if we
and then
now if we
Jason's
think
like,
about it, like no no. Now if we think about it, like maybe if Victor didn't came in, he will jump.
no, yeah, like unironically, like the only thing that keeps like Jace from jumping is like
is
Victor
like
just showing up, being like, oh hey, look, I saw you were about to commit suicide there, pal, but
I just
like
did math, so don't.
I looked over your notes and I ran some numbers and like this looks kind of
Yeah.
promising. Like I feel like we need like the Vine like bass sound effects with like this whole like conversation that they have. It's like bass duh as like he's walking up to the edge and then Victor like Kane hits the ground duh. It's like, oh hey man, I did the math, page book opens duh, and And so basically that then brings him to like, okay, we're just gonna go into Heimerdinger's office and steal like the magic crack cocaine crystals, and they initially get busted by Mel,
Yeah.
and that honestly like kind of adds into her like villainous sort of stature, which like I don't like calling her a villain. Like as I said earlier, like Mai is a villain like how Jeff Bezos and like Bill Gates is a villain. Um, and they're basically, and she like, oh, okay, well, like one of the guards coming, so I'll cover for you. And she like rounds the corner as the guards is rounding the corner. He's like, the guard's like, oh, councilwoman. It's like, I didn't expect you to be here, ha, ha, ha. And she's like, oh, burning the midnight oil, whatever. And then they like walk off so they could like
Yeah.
finish their experiments on the fucking magic crack cocaine crystal.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we change scenes to the Undercity when we see like what's the name? We see Bander who is ready to take Bai's place. He's gonna turn himself instead of Bai, and just as the police is arresting him, Silco releases the monsters, and the monsters just kill
They
the police
Yeah, they do. The monster does a little bit of trolling and just like greases like several police officers.
and kills the smoking
Yeah,
woman.
it kills the smoking lady,
Sad,
and
really.
and
Really.
kills the shopkeep too, which like Echo
Ultra
doesn't take
sad.
that. Echo doesn't take that too good either. And Vander the entire time's like, please no, don't run. He like Vander is like is a man that's like been in like life or death situations. He could probably sense whatever. It's like, uh oh, people are about to start fucking dying.
Yeah, he knew. He was like,
He
okay,
knows.
this is clearly an ambush. This is clearly an ambush.
So
Yeah.
Vander gets taken prisoner, and Vi is basically like forced to like do the whole like dramatic like watching through the window seal and like cry and like scream and bang and beg and bargain
Yeah.
like during the entire time. And
Like,
it's interesting too because like Vi definitely gets like broken down mentally just as bad as Powder does.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, Bai is older, so clearly she has like a better. She has like a better. She can take it. You can tell that she can take it.
well, yeah.
Like, it's
Like,
like,
like they established like right off the bat, like with the whole thing they say about her that she was like always tougher than Powder was,
yeah,
even
I mean,
like at that age.
and we can see that at the beginning of the show when Powder is singing and covering her eyes. I imagine that Bai was like, okay, you're gonna cover your eyes, don't look around, just cover your eyes, grab my hand and follow me, and everything is gonna be okay. And they were walking, and Bai was like looking at actually like the explosions and the police officers killing people, and Powder was just crying and singing the song. And yeah, but
Well, we
coming
have
back
that
to the
other scene
present,
too, like with the fight, whatever one of them like pulls the knife and then Vi like basically does like the whole like, all right, are you gonna do this, pal?
yeah, you wanna see how that ends up? Really? You wanna see? And he's like, no,
Mm,
I'm fine.
Maybe I don't.
Maybe I don't.
yeah.
Yeah, and then we see the good interaction with between Bander and Silco when he's like, "Just kill me already," and he's like, "No, I'm not going to kill you. I need you because these people clearly they are not gonna follow me to the surface, but they might follow you. You can help me out." And he's like, "Even with your monsters, you're not gonna win." And he's like, "How do you know?"
It's like we've only just got them. We got to
Yeah,
test
we
them
only.
out.
I mean, if just one of these guys can like take down a blast door with his fist, just imagine like 20 or 100
Yeah.
can do. Maybe we are not going to win, but we're gonna give them like a run for their money. So And we see that Bander. I like that Bander doesn't excuse himself, or he doesn't see himself as a redeemed man. He when Silco is like confronting him about trying to kill him and that he was a criminal before, he's like, okay, I'm not a good man. He's straightforward, saying like, okay, I'm not a good man, but this I'm not gonna do this. I don't want more blood in my hands. I'm not a good person, but I don't want to be like a monster.
And Selgo is basically just like, look, bro, we got to have monsters. That's the whole reason got singed on my side here. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Like,
that's why I broke up like the most dangerous man in the world to help me out.
The thing with Silco is like he's a man that recognizes like there's tools in this toolbox that I could use. Some of these tools are a little unruly, but just
Yeah,
because they're unruly doesn't mean I want to throw them away.
exactly.
yeah.
Like, and then
It's the
we
same thing with my fucking multi-tool, my Leatherman. Like, just because it's loose enough to where I can fling it out like a switchblade and it sometimes wraps my knuckles when I do that, doesn't mean I'm not going to keep using it and keep arcing it on fucking electrical circuits to cause it to almost weld itself shut and shock my fucking arm.
so then we jump back to Jace and Victor, who are experimenting with the arcane thing, and he's like, "It's working," and they make it work.
That is
And
like that. I think that is like the thing with like the Jace
yeah,
stuff is that every time we jump back to him, it's basically like we have found the solution to the previous scene's problem now.
yeah,
It's like immediately,
yeah. It feels
almost.
like they are missing like something in between.
Yeah,
Like we don't see them like attempting an experiment and like destroying like a community college lab and then like
yeah,
grabbing all their notes and leaving for the janitor to clean all the shit up.
Now we see them like actually succeed in creating like anti gravity with the machine.
yeah. I think they only in his scenes they're like missing. They like cut out the first beat of them, and I don't
Yeah,
know if it's for. I don't. I don't know if it's like that's the way it is from the start or if that's like or if they did actually cut it out. I don't there's like no time constraints on Netflix.
I think it's like with Jace, it's like it's like male protagonist,
yeah,
and it's
but
like everything he touches just works out at the end of the day.
yeah, but what makes that scene actually good is what happens after, because he's like, we make a great discovery that's gonna do great changes for our country, and right then they jump to Powder, who is having a mental breakdown on her room, and she's like crying, looking at her bombs, and then she remembers the crystal, and she's like, wait a minute, the crystal blow up the apartment. If I put it in my bombs, they might be able to actually blow up.
Well, another interesting like thing like during the experiment, like Jace is thinking back to like how the mage was like working his magic and like pulsing it like with the power up and down, and
Yep.
you see him like working the knob, like giving it more and less juice as he's like thinking bad as it cuts between the two. I thought that was like a really like kind of neat way that they were able to like tie
Yeah.
in that little like thematic element or
Yeah,
scene.
He
there
has
is like
he has
It,
a really good
interconnectivity
memory to
between
remember
them.
the exact
it's
movement.
what's the George Lucas bit? It's like a poem. It rhymes.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
rhymes.
I don't.
Yeah, it's like yeah. So yeah, then like that's what I like about that scene is because Jace is like, yes, I'm gonna change the world, and then they just jump to a kid crying on her room, like grabbing like the tiny rock, and it's like, wait a minute, if I put it in my bomb, the bomb might be able to actually work.
explode and kill.
Yeah, no. Like Powder is having a unabridged like mental breakdown at that moment. Like
Yeah,
she might as well be like rolling around and like on the floor like tearing her hair out. Like that's how bad like her mental breakdown is that's like going on right now.
yeah.
And then
Until
she's like, "Oh,
she drops the ball, until she drops the stones on the floor, and she's
yeah.
like, "Wait a minute,
Wait a minute."
I have an idea." And then we cut to Vi, Milo, and Clegor. They are like, "Okay, we're gonna rescue Bander," and they
And
go and
oh,
try.
oh god, this whole like rescuing Vander scene is
Yeah, this
it's
is the
it's
highlight.
it is a highlight like they are pulling like the tension like they are like the audience it's like they are stretching them out like they sneak in and they open up and Vander is like they're like oh there's no like guards or anyone and Vander's like shit y'all need to like get the fuck out of here right now and and then that's whatever it's not it's Sinclair right or no Silco
Silco.
Silco, and then Silco like enters stage right, and it was like, ah, yes, Vander, I see you and your kids have come to save you. And then Vi puts on the gauntlets with malicious intent,
Yeah.
It's
and
like it's like Milo, release Bander, and Clegor, make us a way out. I'm gonna hold them off, and holding off, she did.
yeah, she goes like 8 rounds of just like beating people down.
And the good thing is that she's not a Mary Sue, so she's like you can see that she's blocking, she's like taking punches when she gets kicked in
She's
the
getting
gut.
gassed.
Yeah, when she like gets kicked in the stomach, she just clenches and she's like in pain, and then she hold it off, throws a punch, goes back. Then she's like, you can tell that she has to retreat. She's in the middle of the bridge when the fight starts, but when the fight ends, she's near to the door. She had to go back.
That's the whole thing with Vi. She was naturally, just as mages are naturally able to get hold of magic, whereas fucking Jace has to get technology to use it. Uh, the chimp energy that Singed has to get through chemicals and stuff is already naturally present in Vi. Vi has the ultimate in gorilla powers.
Yeah.
In orangutan strength, Vi manages to hold her own, and it doesn't feel like, and you're definitely right, Deathrock. There's no like real Mary Sue bit to it, and it's like it even like comes up later in that scene when like the people that she had been fighting off are like starting to get up as they're like, oh, like I woke up from like getting knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like
it
I
was
think
like,
like half of the goons get up afterwards.
yeah, half of them, and they get up because okay, yes, she's wearing metal gloves, but it's a 14-year-old girl, so she's not strong enough to like knock down a grown ass man.
Well, I think they actually do like a bit of like a because I remember whenever I was watching the show and like whenever they like said that the like Jinx, it was like I like pointed at the screen, it was like they did the line, they said Jinx, and then I did like the whole soy jack thing too. Whenever Vi does like her overhand like double fist down smash, which is like I believe that's her ultimate in League of Legends, right?
Yeah, that he
Yeah.
jumps at you.
And so I'm like, okay, like they did the thing, like even this early on, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's for the people that like actually like play League and know what's going on. Like all the Vi mains were just like cooming during that.
She countered
But
with her
then,
ult.
so then we get like the fight when the monster guy just enters the fight. She tries to
Mm.
punch him, and he doesn't even blink. He just grabbed her by the neck, and she's like, "Oh shit, I'm outmatched. There's no way in hell I can take this guy down." And she's forced to retreat. She locks the door, and she's like, "Okay, you have to hurry up, man. You have to break that wall. Hurry up."
Okay, so now I'm trying to remember. So whenever Vander fights with the brass
Yeah.
knuckles, is that before or after the explosion?
After the explosion.
It was
Okay.
after, yeah.
Because the thing is, like, she locks the door, and when she locks the door, uh, this whole time, Powder was climbing the building, and she got through the window, and she puts the monkey on the bridge. She just watched the monkey walk to the monster, and when the monkey explodes, hell breaks loose. Like, and they show you the perspective of everyone in the building.
Yeah,
Consider,
it's almost like a 2 minute long scene
yeah,
of like chubby man getting like hit into the wall and like it collapsing on him. Lockpick man whose names escapes me. I'm 5 beers in. Like he takes a fucking like lead pipe to the chest and he gets like collapsed on. Like Vi gets caught under rubble. I don't exactly recall like what happens to Vander, but like that one pirate lady like loses her arm pushing Silco out of the way,
yes.
and then
Um,
like the mutant man just basically like tanks the hit pretty much.
yeah,
Mhm.
he gets burned pretty bad. Like, after that, you can say that he is wounded, not mortally wounded, but he was like,
You fucked
"Ooh."
up.
Yeah, he was fucked up. And I like the scene because when they jump to Powder's perspective, she's smiling, and she's like looking at the
Oh
little
god,
capsule.
it's such a good scene.
She's like, and you can see her smile because she's like, okay, I'm finally being
I did
useful,
it.
and
I did
I
it.
did it.
Yeah.
I did it. It worked. And then everything goes south from that on.
Yeah, cuz then
But
I'm
Vander is the first one to wake up, and he sees the kids dead. He sees Bai under the rubble, and he's like, "Okay, I need to pull it off." And he just gets up,
it's dad energy time.
yeah, grab a couple of iron things from the floor, and he starts punching the living shit out of everyone. And then he fights the monster, and he's like, "No, I'm not gonna brawl you. I'm just gonna be smart, and I'm gonna box. I'm gonna box in your ass. I'm gonna box your fucking face into the ground."
And it works too. Like he boxes the monster he boxes the chem powered
Again, monster.
monster to like a standstill pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he doesn't try to, like, he doesn't make the mistake that Bai did, because she tried to measure force with the monster. And instead, Bander is like dodging the monster, and he punches, and he's tactical about it. He's smart when he's fighting.
Yeah, the monster gets like one hit in on him and
Yeah, and that's it.
and then that kind of basically bleeds into the scene of like of Silco stabbing
Yeah, stabbing him in the
Vander
back
and then
with his own knife,
yeah, with
because
his own knife, and then he conveniently lands on a pile of fucking D-ball, steroids, trembolone,
yeah.
testosterone.
Yeah.
Like this dude's ready to go to the gym and pull 800 pounds on a deadlift.
Yeah.
Coop, yesterday I pulled 225 on the deadlift just for you because it was the Marine Corps birthday. I hope you
Oh,
feel proud of me. That's 2 plates on a deadlift.
well, I
That's
mean,
good.
that is good. Yeah. I can't I can still deadlift pretty safely. I just can't fucking bench anymore because I don't
Because
know.
your brain will explode?
Well, no, I just it's like a seizure safety thing. Like I don't really want to have something heavy up over top of me just in case.
Yeah,
Like
it's for
Just
safe.
don't deadlift with straps. That's all you have to do to be safe with your current condition. Just don't deadlift with
Yeah.
straps. You can wear a
I
belt, just
mean,
don't use straps.
I never deadlifted with straps to begin with. It was like never a thing I even bothered to do. Like, which I mean, like, I haven't gone for a long while either, but like,
Yeah.
but now that it's getting colder, the gym does seem like a better place.
Yeah, the gym.
God, I can only imagine in the Marine Corps like what the dick measuring contest is there of like who could bench and deadlift and squat the most. I
Oh,
bet
Oh no,
there's no contest at this point. Fucking
it's
so
all out war of like who could pull and lift the
no,
most.
no, the war has already been decided. So like recently we got a new fucking master gunnery sergeant over in the company, and this man is like fucking 60 years old, built like the video of the guy, you know, the one you fucking posted, fucking
Oh,
what's
Ronnie
his name?
Coleman,
Yeah, built like
lightweight
that, straight
baby,
up. Yeah,
woo!
and
So he's
as
like
soon as he
200
showed his
pounds of just pure muscle.
yeah, as soon as he showed his fucking face in the door, we were like, "Oh fuck." This I'm telling you, okay, so like my platoon has like basically all of the physical PT events that we've had as competitions recently. Our platoon has been like winning most of them in our company, but this guy saw that and he was like, I'm going to nerf GEM platoon by competing against them myself. And he is like, and he basically like levels out the playing field like every fucking time we get out there. Like we did like there was one that was like a multi-event thing where he just decided he was going to do the tire flips for the other team and immediately started flipping the tire faster than our two strongest biggest dudes. Like yeah, nobody comes close to him. There's no contest anymore. We're done.
Yeah.
Fucking gold goes to him.
I kind of want to know what he pulls, but let's get back to Arcane.
Or you could probably ask him. He will talk to you about fucking anything that is involving workouts or fishing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, talking back to Arcane, yeah, we have Silco stabbing Bander, and Vi just like it's just like shit. What is going on?
Vi
Everything.
is Vi is coming to, and she sees like her friend's dead,
Yeah,
and she is having like a like the facial expression of her like crying is like it's too accurate.
Yeah.
Like because like if anyone that has had like a serious cry over like the loss of like a family member or like a sibling, like the facial expressions are like 100% on point. Like I was feeling bad whenever I was even seeing that scene. I was like,
yep.
dang, like it's pretty on point. And then it's just I'm trying to remember what Vi does after. I'm trying to. She ends up jumping out of the. No. The monster tries to her,
Yeah, but
attack
then
her, and then
Bander,
Evander is like goes full roid mode and like and
yeah, rescue her
and rescues
on.
her. But he was already like he is his health bar. He wasn't losing health. His health bar was shrinking, and he was basically like dead by the time they like get out the side of the warehouse.
Yeah.
And right there is when we have our girl Fowler arrive. Like it worked, it did work. And Bai is like in shock, and she's like, "You did this." But her face, like I think the best part of that scene is her face when she's like realized that her
Well,
sister just.
she sees what's his name's goggles, and that's
Yep.
whenever it hits.
Mm-hmm. She's like,
Yeah.
you did this, and she like and she just gets mad, and she's like, Milo was right about you, you're a jinx, and she just straight up punched her in the face. I wasn't expecting that at all, not at all. I was
Yeah,
expecting
no.
her to like shake her or just scream at her, not to straight up punch her in the face.
I mean, it was
Yeah, and it's like even like Vi 2, like her like begging, pleading, like I'm sorry, like all like credits to like the voice actor and like the director,
Yep.
like it just works. It's like it's so good. Like you like both of these characters have just been like reduced to zero at this point, and it's it's so good. Like it's not even funny how like good the line delivery is, like the lighting, the character, like the facial, like everything is like this is as close to like a perfect, like if you want to do like a perfect like 10 out of 10 like scene, this is as
Yeah.
close as you're gonna get to like a perfect like 10 out of 10 scene.
Yes.
yeah.
And you can tell that it's like this is something I was talking to a friend a couple of days ago when we watched the episode, and I was telling her that this is one of those things that there's no going back. This is something that is like there's no forgiveness to give here. Like because even if it was an accident, she literally kills like her own family. It's like how do you get away from that? How do you heal from that?
Well, that's kind of like feeding into like the overall place of this in terms of like
What
I
the
don't.
show is like about is like family.
Well, no, I was thinking about its relation to its fucking source material, because
Yeah,
like, can they really? That's like one of the things that I would
Can we
like.
square this circle or
Yeah,
circle this square?
I'm not sure we can have like a league-based product that actually has an end. Is the thing.
yeah.
I don't.
That's one of the reasons why the lead producer of the because they founded like the media branch of League of Legends. The lead producer say that the events that he wants to portray in the shows, comics, movies, novels, whatever, are mostly prequels because they are going to show how this character ended up being who he is. Because technically, the end of this story should be Vi and Caitlyn becoming the two heroes of Piltover, the Piltover finest.
I mean, yeah, but that lead
Uh,
that does lead into like the next thing of, are we going to then get a sort of like this is like future predictions and stuff. Like, do you think there would ever come a point in time where they would allow for, like, if it were me, uh just the way that League is generally set up and stuff, like, yes, the prequels to their standing in terms of where League is at is fine, but I would also probably be, if I were them, perfectly willing to like wind up into like some
into the
actual
future.
yeah, like, some actual thing that resolve
I mean,
threads.
they are trying with one plot, but that plot, if they make a show, I think it's gonna be later because Demacia is basically like quote unquote the good guys. They are like your regular human fantasy kingdom, with dragons, knights.
They're
They
the guys that have like the Greek hero guy, right? Am I
they
reading
have
that?
They're the guys with Draven and that hot brown chick. What's her name?
Oh yeah, hot brown chick number 45.
no, no. They are the enemies of Noxus. Basically, the thing with Demacia is like they move their plot forward because in Demacia, when they introduce a character named Silas, the entire thing about Demacia is like a nation that is racist against mages. And when I say racist, it's like if you're a mage, they're gonna put a collar on you or made of a substance named petricite that makes basically, if I put the collar on you, you're not gonna be able to use magic.
You're going to the camp.
Yeah, you're going to a camp, and that's what is going on in Demacia. The thing is, like, the character that they push forward is Silas, who escapes. He has the unique property that he can drain magic. It doesn't matter how the type of magic, he can drain any type of magic out of people, and he created a revolution of mages against the establishment in Demacia. The thing is, they push that story forward with the comics, and the entire thing is like it leaves you like in a situation of, okay, we can move this forward, but um, do we really want to have a conclusion? Because by the end of that story, Silas is defeated and he is forced to escape to the Freljord, the basically the Vikings of this universe. And the Vikings of this universe believe him to be a messiah because he can do magic and use magical weapons that are supposed to be for the royal family of that land. But he can use them not because he's the chosen one, it's because he can drain magic. So he's like lying to the barbarians, like, yes, I am the one. I am the one. Follow me to Demacia. We have to go back to my country and sack it. And they're like, yeah, he's right. We have to go there and sack those bitches. And like, but that's not related to our
I'm getting
province
some
entirely.
some late tier Roman Empire vibes right now.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it happens. So with League of Legends, the thing they want to do is like right now Riot's like they're gonna make prequels first and
See how it
any
works out, maybe.
yeah, exactly. Because the thing that they want to make a movie is one of the most important events in the story that they never retcon, and is the war between Ionia, that is basically like Japan, Asia, and Noxus, the one that is like a militaristic empire.
Yeah, because the way that it ends, it's basically so like the implications of the ending are so Jinx gets recruited by Silco,
Yeah, she
and
gets raised by Silco.
and Vi basically gets like she gets chloroformed by the crooked enforcer that we just completely glossed over, but that's fine.
I mean, he's a really minor secondary. Well, he's minor, but he's important. He's a secondary character that we should have talked more about. He was a crooked cock, but he found like redemption, kinda.
But yeah, so like essentially like how the series like how these first 3 episodes end and like ended the trailers for like the next chunk of episodes that they're dropping is like Vi is essentially a political prisoner. Like the Piltover would be more than happy if Vi spent the rest of her life like rotting in the CIA black site and they forgot about her.
Yes, but
But
Caitlyn
Caitlyn
goes.
is comes in and saves the day and pulls her out of the fucking CIA black site.
Yeah, because the teaser, what it shows is like Caitlyn just arrived to the prison. Vi is punching the wall, and Caitlyn is like, "I need your help to track someone," and she shows her like a
Yeah, she shows
picture of.
her notes. It's like, oh, like look at these notes, and Vi like glances at it and she like immediately recognizes it for what they are. She's like a caged animal, like grabbing at the bars, like where'd you find this?
Yep, and we see clips of Jinx basically like breaking up on Piltover, blowing up buildings and killing people.
Jinx is doing a little bit of trolling, a little bit of casual terrorism.
Yeah, casual.
Uh, when exactly is that coming out? Because I forgot what the release schedule
This Saturday.
was.
Yeah,
Okay.
Saturday.
All right then. Makes sense. Seems reasonable. I forgot what it was. I feel like I had to do something.
But yeah, it's like the thing is like right now my question is basically, are they going to like keep touching like the political themes on this show, because this is something that Riot, this is where they fail a lot. They have like a centrist sense of morality and political views. I believe that it's probably not to get in trouble with anyone, but it's weird because it's like you cannot have like a centrist point of view here. Like you have
I would
literally,
even argue like a radical centrist point of view on the politics of the show.
My
yeah,
God.
because you can actually see that like literally the people from Piltover should like invest in fixing the undercity instead of like, no, whatever, let them die.
Nah, they don't have enough money. They gotta spend it on like
They don't have
making
enough money.
weird magic hammers, man. Come on,
Yeah,
think about
we
it.
have we have to create magic hammers and stuff
You
because
gotta think about where that budget has to go to
yeah,
make shit real proper.
I
Magic
mean
hammers will solve
I
all
mean
problems.
the council woman, she's like, we need a more radical solution, and Jace is like, wait, these are people, yes, they are people, but we need a radical solution.
Mm,
And I think like the opening gives it away, because in the opening, by the end of the opening, you can see like um by fighting Jinx.
Yeah, because it's like I guess Vi is like given like weird hex tech armor that's like it's like, oh, we're gonna, like go aggressive with the people in Vander and, start beating them up. And then the two are fighting and it's like, and they're like, they have like the moment where it's like, Vi powder question mark, huh?
Are you with the police? No, it's like uh, also they spoiled the show during Worlds, during the finale. They spoiled the show. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but they make like this 13-minute long music video with with multiple songs from the show, and the last one is the theme of this year's championship, and it was basically is from Jinx's perspective, and it says something like "Burn it all down." I have the matches now. I'm gonna burn it all down, and that's what it says the song. And the video shows like Jace creating like a massive hex tech core to give power to the entire city, but at the end of the music video, the core just explodes. So I believe that what is going to happen, Jinx is gonna try to blow up the entire city. She's gonna fail because we need the franchise.
well, yeah, obviously, but I don't know. Like,
But yeah, that's kind of like the end of this like patch of episodes. Like, there's really kind of not much more we could talk about other than
I
like,
don't know.
you
what's
know,
gonna
just like, oh, what could happen next? Oh, we just gotta wait for like the next episode to drop. Yeah. So like,
Yeah,
That's
I don't
usually
know.
how it goes. Yeah.
I'll
I
just
think I
say,
prefer. I think I prefer this way to of releasing TV shows, because it's not as week to week, but it's not like having to binge all in one go. I think 3 episodes at a time is like reasonable.
It's
yeah, I could agree with
it's,
that.
it's an experimental way of doing things.
Yeah,
I would say like fucking it's probably just to vary things up. I think people like get tired of seeing stuff one way and they want to see it a different way, and so they introduce a different way.
Yeah,
They'll
like
they'll keep switching things up to try and fucking get like all the ratios and ratings and scores and stuff
yeah,
for
like
the
the
release
current
cycle,
season
right?
of like Castlevania that dropped, like it might have hit a little bit different if you had to wait like over a month to enjoy the entire series, if that makes sense.
I
and
mean,
also
like
and also think I think it depends on the kind of story you want to tell, because if the story is like centered around characters and character progression, like Arcane, it's better if you have like 3 episodes and that's it, because that way you can process the information and get it in. instead of like, okay, The Witcher, here you have 12 episodes, 1 hour each. You just watch it and you're not able to like process the information because you're like just binging everything in one go.
Yeah, the episodes are long too. They're like
40
what?
minutes.
Yeah, they're like they are like
Mm,
OVA like length episodes.
I think they were around like 44.5 minutes, if I
Yeah.
recall.
And I'm pretty fine with that. It's like, I think that's one of the reasons why it doesn't feel that rushed. If this were 20 minutes episodes, we were like, what the fuck just happened?
Like
It's
unironically, like I'll probably like for Thanksgiving and my parents like, oh, let's watch something on Netflix or whatever. Like I'll fire this up with my parents. Like I don't care. Like
yeah,
they don't
cool.
need to know jack shit about League of Legends. It's like it's just a good fucking. It's like it's a good series. Like
Well,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, you don't need to know anything. I didn't
yeah,
know jack shit.
yeah.
Like,
That's the good thing about it. Like the Riot decided to be like, oh, no, we need like the mass appeal, so we're gonna have our Easter eggs and shit, but we're gonna like make it like in a bubble. You don't need to see anything else to get this.
well, I think on this note, like unless we have any, if anyone wants to make closing statements, they're more than happy to make them. But
Yeah, my closing statement will be like, I want more stuff like this that is brave, that wants to try something new, and wants to like explore new ideas and give an opportunity to new animation studios. It's a good thing because,
well, I
to be
mean,
entirely honest, I think I haven't watched Disney in a while because I believe that it has grown stagnant.
kind of, yeah. I mean, well, supposedly you're not alone in that because there's recently been reports that Disney's streaming service has basically leveled out on new subscribers.
Yeah,
They've
it's not.
essentially they've essentially flatlined on the numbers and they're just maintaining what they currently have and
Yeah,
haven't really attracted any new guys. Haven't lost anybody, but it would seem that they're not really offering up anything that's
yeah.
claiming new dudes to go over to it. And
It's
and I think Riot kind of like pulled the right move, putting instead of like Riot is like the kind of thing that I would have fully expected to try and launch their own streaming service again, to be, like freaking Games Workshop or somebody trying to do the same thing. Everybody's trying to do that,
No,
and
the
it
thing
always,
is, no, the thing with Games Workshop is bad advertisement. They what they
yeah,
created is not a streaming service. It's a fucking tool so you can get like the rules in your phone, get like the magazine in your phone, so you can read like the new rules, the new updates. You just download the PDF instead of buying a new codex or a new supplement book. That's the purpose of the thing. The problem is like they advertise it with the animation, and everyone was expecting like 20 shows.
either way though, I think that going on a pre-established service that's already got like a good base to it is just a smarter move.
And they
It,
know Netflix is like, even if they lose people, Netflix still the biggest one.
yeah,
It's like, and also another thing. This is a little Easter egg or trivia. Uh, Riot went to Disney first, but the Disney was like, no, we're not gonna allow you to like to show kids getting killed and shit like that in our streaming service. Are you insane?
yeah, that does kind of make sense.
Yeah,
But
that
Disney.
doesn't surprise me that they went to Disney first to like have it as their streaming platform.
No, they
okay,
wanted to go with Disney Plus, but the thing is, like, when they went to Disney Plus, the executives were like, okay, this is a list of the things that you cannot do or you cannot say, and your characters cannot smoke in screen, they cannot be drinking on screen, and it's like, what? Why?
well, I mean, that's been like a constant rule at Disney for all of their animated works for like fucking
For modern
forever at this.
animated work. Because if you go back to like Dumbo and shit like that, you can see like people drinking beer and smoking cigars.
Yeah, I suppose, but they didn't.
And if you go to Roger Rabbit, that is 80s, you can still see people drinking and smoking cigars.
Well, that was like technically Roger Rabbit is like in its own different like sphere of genre of fucking stuff. It's a weird thing. I wouldn't like place it in with regular Disney shit.
Yeah, but and they wanted to go to Amazon Prime, but Amazon was going to take like 90% of the revenue, and they were like, no. Real was like,
Yeah,
no, we need to make money.
Yeah, I don't know like how like the revenue deal is like cut for
from what I understand from Netflix, Netflix is literally just a platform almost, and they take a relatively small cut from
Yeah,
all
they
stuff.
take a really small cut.
It's just that they also have like streaming rights to your shit.
Yeah,
And so you basically like you give up rights to put it on other stuff, and so Netflix gets the exclusives on it and a small cut. But and and that's like another reason why Netflix just has so much shit on it. Like other stuff doesn't have near the volume of content that Netflix has because their entire business model means that they basically have to have a shit ton of stuff just to make up in profits.
yeah, but
So they'll
it,
accept pretty much everything,
Last
which
time I
is
spoke,
like, it's good on one end in that we can get pretty much any kind of shit on there.
yeah, that's why I'm like, that's why I'm like, I really like that they decide to go with Netflix. They're like, no, they're gonna allow us to do stuff that other people is not gonna allow.
Well, I really liked it because I still had my fucking sister's account. So I can just watch it basically for free with her paying for it.
I mean, I have mine. I don't pay for it. It comes with my phone. As long as I'm with
well, you still pay for it.
Yeah, technically.
yeah, but it's cheaper. You're not paying the $50. You're paying like $4.
I can't remember what it was. I think I got a fucking HBO Max thing with my phone plan.
Well, with
That
AT&T, you get a HBO.
that's weird. Maybe maybe I'm wrong about which one it was I got. I remember I got something with because I'm on Verizon. I forget which one.
Maybe it was Hulu. Hulu
It
is
might
not
have.
bad. Hulu has actually good shows.
Well,
Hulu is Hulu's okay, but like the thing with Hulu is that every time I've tried getting on there, like the whatever kind of like streaming software they're running on it is shit. Like it cuts and chops like a bunch of episodes, and I basically like canceled my sub to it like really quickly as soon as that came up. Admittedly, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm in like a different spot now from when I did because I think I was still back in 29 Palms when I got my subscription to them.
but
Um,
yeah, to I'll do my closing statement. I think we could shut it down here. If they can keep up with the quality of the show for like this chunk and then the next chunk that we're getting, I definitely think we'll have a winner. And you know, I hope we get more of stuff like this from Riot and this studio
well, from
in
what
the
we've seen
future.
so far, I wouldn't doubt it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Like I mean if it makes people play like League of Legends or like start buying into like, start playing their what's the other like phone game that they have that is called
Wild Rift and the
yeah,
one that is
Wild
Arcane.
Rift and what's the auto
Legend.
chess one?
Uh, uh,
uh, that one's like
Teamfight Tactics.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
and Teamfight Tactics, like if this like makes people like get in, like if this drives like a 10 to 20% like traffic gain in like in League of Legends and Teamfight Tactics and like their other like IPs that they're like still developing, like I don't like this, like I don't see why this wouldn't be a win for them. Or I mean,
Oh
or even
no.
to like if this is just like an extravagant excuse to sell like skins, then whatever.
Oh no, high power. That's the funniest thing. They are giving away four legendary skins. One for Jace, one for Vi, one for Caitlyn, and one for Jinx.
Oh, okay then.
Well, that's good to know. But I think on this note, I think we'll wrap it up. So this has been an off the cuff Beyond cast. I don't know when this will be put out, but it'll be out whenever it's out, and I hope y'all enjoy this just over 2 hour listen. And hey, y'all have a good night.